Okay, Miss Fritz, I'm about to head out. I got even more water. And 4 Thin Mints. Mm-hmm. It may only seem like 10 chapters, but it will take me 2 or 3 hours. And it will take you a similar amount of time to sit through. But then, I will be liberated from this prison of 10 years. Except I only showed up in like 2015. 10 years. Hmm? So it turns out that home is an entirely abstract concept, a state of mind, if you will, rather than a literal physical construct that you can make you feel one way or the other. Terezi's been gone long enough that her friends seem like strangers, entangled in relationship dynamics she's obliquely excluded from, embroiled in petty feuds, obsessed with politics. Oh, do you want to know how those petty feuds and political exceptions turned out, by the way? I thought it was pretty obvious, but I'll say what's up anyway. Jane swept the election, of course. I told you I was going to win. After Jake's incoherent and scandalous heel turn at Karkat's ill-fated rally, no amount of esoteric three-dimensional JPEG artifacts could have saved the Vantis campaign. Besides, Dave and Karkat now have other concerns, mainly that their BFF Jade has been in a coma for an entire month. They've been in and out of the hospital handling her affairs. Her next of kin is listed as John Egbert, and no one's seen him in ages. It's like he just disappeared suddenly, like some great hand came out of the sky and crossed his name off the list of big guys we ever need to give a shit about anymore. Terezi heard about Jade from a rather harried Kanaya, who has doubtlessly run ragged from the hot potato plot circles that I've been sending her on weeks on. I think I could stop doing the Dirk voice, but then, no sir. Who has doubtlessly run ragged from the hot potato plot circles that I've been sending her on for weeks to stop her from reading me the riot act for kidnapping her lovely wife. The woman is obviously hysterical and needs to chill the fuck out. I mean, she's hysterical because I've been specifically and deliberately causing her to be that way, sure, but still, she should be fine soon enough. It takes Terezi a couple days to work up the what exactly? What is she supposed to be feeling right now? I'm not sure myself. Maybe I should take a minute to think about the thing you're supposed to feel when someone goes through whatever the hell it was she just went through. If I come up with any ideas, I could easily do her the favor of helping her feel it. Whatever she's supposed to feel, whatever it is she's supposed to feel, what she actually feels is empty, colorless, dried up, as she walks beneath the holographic billboard displaying Jane's glorious victory speech. The ceremony accompanying the speech is patently absurd, stuffed with so much pomp and circumstance that Terezi's nose can't make sense of what she's supposed to be looking at. It's all just light and color, signifying nothing. Her internal smelloscope is so discombobulated from the onslaught of pastry-themed floats, and Jane's tearful soliloquy on the legacy of responsibility she's about to inherit, that she mistakes the familiar figure standing in front of the hospital for someone else entirely.
Hey, cool kid. How's Jade doing?
Man, that was a terrible first voice. Roxy turns around and blinks in confusion. Terezi blinks back. Kanaya had warned her that Roxy had been going through some changes, but this still takes her by surprise. So in her defense, this was an honest mistake to make. Dave gets half his genetics from Roxy after all, and since her big heart-to-heart about the personal politics of queer onion metaphors and 10 stages of galaxy braining through the many vicissitudes of the phrase no homo, Roxy's decided to really step up her gender experimentation. I guess at this point she's gone beyond stage 10, which I imagine is somewhat like reaching Super Saiyan 2 of gender, and then going even further beyond. She's got the shades now, and sports one of those sweep-over hipster cuts Dave loves so much. Nothing ambiguous about this presentation, although if I'm being totally real, it's a bit derivative. Anyway, I can't complain too much about her decision to crib the her style, since, she's family. Besides, I'm T-minus 10 hours from fucking off this gay earth forever. It's her life, her gender, her style. She can be whatever the fuck she wants. Roxy's whole face lights up when she sees Terezi. Oh my god, Terezi, I didn't know you were back. What up?
Oh, Roxy, hi. I thought you were Dave.
Oh, Mal, that makes sense. I thought for a minute you were appreciating my rad new look. But I got a ways to go before I could dethrone the original cool kid.
No, you're very cool. In fact, I'd probably venture that if we're judging coolness in a formal coolness contest judged by the pros on a completely objective basis, you're about 1,000,000,000 times cooler than Dave.
Wow, thanks.
Which is a fact that seems so obvious that I've definitely knocked several ranks off my own personal coolness attribute by even saying it out loud rather than allowing it to be assumed.
Well, no way. Terezi, you're like the raddest chick I know. Terezi's jaw tightens. She's not ready to hear any words that remind her of those few hours with John. Her hands goes into her pocket where she's keeping the wallet. She traces the contours of it with her thumb and forces a smile.
You say so.
Yeah, I fucking do say so. Don't make me repeat myself. Roxy seems almost effusive despite the circumstances, an earthly, genuine effusiveness that lights her up from inside. Terezi's head is filled with stories about a different version of Roxy, the polar opposite of the one standing in front of her. So, you're here to see Jade, huh?
Yeah. I heard what happened to her and I thought I should come. Well,
Pay respects? No, that's dumb. Terezi knows that's dumb. This is just a motion you go through. John would definitely want to be here, though, and technically Terezi's taking him with her. He may be in her pocket, but lately she's feeling more like he's under her skin. She hasn't told anyone what happened, but at least she knows she can look at him whenever she wants. Yeah, it's looking grim. On one hand, she's just laying there, so there's not really a chance of her doing anything evil or heroic to off herself permanently. But it's also been so long, it's like, she just gonna sleep forever?
Sleeping forever definitely sounds like a Jade move to me.
Yeah, lol, I feel bad cracking jokes about it, but I think it's what she'd want. Us having hope and all.
Yes. Where's Calliope? You two are still together, right?
Oh god. Back when Jade first got all left up, Callie saw something that made them freak out. It took me weeks to convince them that it was safe to come home, but now we got the opposite problem and they aren't leaving the house at all. They stay home all day with the blinds drawn, painting some weird-ass shit on the walls.
What?
It's not as bad as I promise. Some of it is, like, weird and violent. Lots of nasty purple blood and, nudity.
Huh?
Yeah, yikes. But most of it is cute stuff, like various combos of us being happy and getting married and shit. Anyway, that's kept Callie kinda busy, so it was hard as hell to convince them to come let me see Jade at all. It's like they're traumatized. And they think I'll drag whatever possessed Jade back into our home with me.
Does Callie know what happened to Jade then?
Maybe, I don't know. I'm not gonna push them. Callie's got all kinds of hang-ups about their existence and purpose and potential lack thereof. When they're ready to talk about it, I want them to be able to talk about it, you know?
Yes, it does sound like pushing them while they're vulnerable will just backfire.
Trezzy startles a bit when her phone buzzes. Who would even be messaging her now when the only person she ever talked to is currently dead in her other pocket? She's intrigued, but she thinks better of worrying about it. It'd be rude to look at her phone when she's in the middle of a conversation. Oh, that reminds me. Have you seen John lately? Trezzy's heart skips a beat. It's almost as if Roxy's the one reading her mind.
Why do you ask?
No one else has asked yet. Roxy gives a shrug. A conflicted look crosses her face, but I can't see past it. With a dead cherub out of the picture, the aura of void surrounding Roxy once again is impenetrable. Those baller shades aren't exactly improving my odds of reading her either. I'll say again what I've always felt about her on some level. Some riddles were never meant to be solved. He went back to the medium a while ago, right? I thought maybe you and he crossed paths? Trezzy does not flinch. Her pleasant expression does not falter. She's good at the appearance of confidence, even when racked with indecision and grief.
No, I haven't seen him.
Oh, damn, that's too bad. Callie and I have been worried. Kinda hoped he'd come back. Or at least let us know what he's been up to. Between this and what's going on with Jade and the lack of closure's gonna keep me up at night.
I'm sorry. I wish I knew what to tell you.
Hey, it's fine. You can't fix everyone's problems.
I know.
Roxy pinches her lips together and examines Terezi over the rim of her sunglasses for a moment. Maybe, having watched her own friend group suffer stress fractures recently, she understands the weight of those words as uttered by this specific person, because Terezi is a fixer, and it has been a very difficult lesson for her to learn that some things are simply out of her control. Maybe it's just that Roxy can hear the bone-deep sorrow in her voice.
Oh my fucking god, it's him, you fucking oaf.
What? Who are you loudly whispering to?
Oh, nobody. Oh, my bad. Why not send him my regards? Tell him he makes a kick-ass hymn for me. It suits the hell out of him.
Oh. Okay, this is Terezi being able to hear... I should not speak while I'm taking a hoodie off. This is Terezi being able to hear Dirk's narration and then correcting the fucking pronoun. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Why not send him my regards? Tell him he makes a kick-ass hymn for me. It suits the hell out of him. I'm not fucking telling him that. Whatever was bothering Roxy, it passes quickly, and he says nothing about it. Puts his hand on Terezi's shoulder and gives it a warm clap. The fraternal kind, which a couple of solid dudes might exchange after having just broed out. It's convincing, actually. Reasonably authentic and quite masculine. He's off to a great start exhibiting the mannerisms associated with his chosen gender. I'm genuinely proud of him.
Okay, well I should get going. It was nice catching up. Don't be a stranger, alright?
Stranger than what?
You're a riot. You know what I mean.
Yeah, see you.
As soon as Roxy's gone, Terezi regrets lying to him about John. It's a hard secret to keep, and I don't really need to be doing the Dirk voice. But harder one to reveal. Maybe it would have been better if she had run into Dave instead of Roxy. It would have been easier to confide something like that to Dave, wouldn't it? Mel, maybe it would have been easier. Years ago, in a different timeline. And even then, she messed that up, didn't she? We can't beat ourselves up too much for our teen mistakes, let alone the stuff we can't even remember, because it technically never even happened to us. We have enough to worry about as it is, right, Terezi?
I know you can hear me. Of course I can hear you. You've been broadcasting your nonsense at me non-stop ever since John zapped us back. I know that every member of your family except the one I had just had a pleasantly brief conversation with is genetically incapable of shutting up, but can you just let me be depressed in peace? I feel depressed all the time, but I can't remember ever having the luxury of feeling peaceful about it. Why should it be different for anyone else? What do you want? Come on, Terezi. You don't belong here. You know you don't belong here. And what the hell do you know about where I belong? What do you know about what I know? Have we even had a single unsustained conversation that lasted more than 10 minutes? To be honest, I'm not sure if we've ever exchanged any words at all. But why should that matter? Here we both are. It's a beautiful day. You've got your dead boyfriend in your wallet. And we've already managed to strike such a nice metatextual rapport. So hear me out. I know you've always felt out of step here on Earth-C. I know that you could easily put on a brilliant act that could fool everyone. You could potentially do that for the rest of your life. But it will eat into you, hollow you out like a parasite, because you'll always refuse to allow yourself to be understood. You know you'll never be happy here, and neither will I, because this place isn't for people like us. Dirk, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. You'll see, if you come with us. Hey, here's an idea. Why don't you bring him with you? Him? Yeah. You saved his body for a reason, right? Maybe it doesn't even have to be the end for him. Endings are kind of overrated anyway. I'll give you some time to think about it. My door's open, but not for long. And I do give her the time. I ease back the throttle a bit, just so I'm not whispering directly into her ear when she slips the wallet out of her pocket. She clutches it so hard in her palm that she's digging dents into the leather, bites her lip. The gentle breeze is all she can hear. It's louder than my voice in some understated way. Makes my case for me more persuasively. She knows I'm right. We make a quick stop back at Rose's apartment. She understandably wants to pack a few things before we leave this planet forever. Not a whole lot, mind you. It's not like she'll be needing many clothes from now on. Oh, come on. Can we keep our minds out of the gutter for more than 2 fucking seconds? That's not what I meant.
She'll have to leave her current body soon if she's going to survive the absolute realization of her ultimate self. The new body I've made for her won't have much for use for her usual ensembles. That's all I was saying. Do you really need all this crap? Rose is sprawled out on the bed, resting. It's pretty much all she can bring herself to do these days, but in spite of her physically incapacitated state, her stare tracks me intently as I root through her belongings at her behest. No, I don't need it, but I'd like to have it. Some of it. Just the important things. The memories that matter most. We're going to make new memories. We have countless millennia ahead of us, the entire breadth of infinity. The past 7 years on this planet are cosmically irrelevant. When we get where we're going, you won't even want to remember this benighted rock anymore. Rose opens her mouth to launch into what would surely be a belabored encyclical argument, but she doesn't have the strength. She groans instead. I know it frustrates her. It frustrates me too. That's why I want to get out of here as soon as possible. I let my voice soften. Rose, everything is going to be fine. But Dad... She pleads, affecting an exaggerated whine that sounds unintentionally authentic with how weak she is. Rose has really leaned into this particular line of irony, hamming it up with the dad jokes as if she serves some kind of bizarre gratification from the fact of our realization. It's an apparently endless source of amusement to her. I don't get it, and I don't really care to speculate. I sigh, returning to the picking up through her jewelry. The tactic fucking works on me, I guess. Is this the thing you were talking about? This rock rope? Rock rope? Rose lifts herself up barely enough to see. The effort to do so just seems to take everything out of her. She collapses heavily after she gets a look at what I'm holding up, huffing in annoyance. First of all, the word for that object is a necklace. Second of all, does that look purple to you? Don't patronize me while I'm dying. I can't make heads or tails of any of this shit. It's a big pile of shiny garbage. If you're so concerned about it, why don't you come over here and pick out what you want to pack yourself? I expect at least an aggravated retort, but nothing comes. I glance back and see that her eyes have gone glassy and distant, like two round-cut amethysts. Her smile seems less due to fondness than stupefaction. The circles under her eyes are dark, and her head is cushioned on an arm beneath it. Keeping her eyes trained on me seems to be the only energy she's able to expend anymore. The omniscient sickness is wreaking havoc on her. I should hurry up. I'm glad I never had to feel whatever she's going through. Not everyone can be built like me. It just means I carry a greater responsibility to take care of those more fragile, especially the ones most important to me. I go through the motions of picking things out of her drawers, just grabbing stuff at random because, like I said, it doesn't matter. When she next speaks, it seems her mind was wandered. Her voice is as distant as her expression. Are you sure Kanaya's going to be okay with this? I slide a drawer shut and shove whatever it is I'm holding into the bag without looking. There's no need to worry about that. How will we break it to her? You're not well enough to stress over this. You should just let me handle it. I can make her understand. What's happening here is the best thing for everybody. She'll come to see that someday. Rose breathes in deeply and exhales. She allows herself to close her eyes and tries to forget these troubling thoughts of the wife she's about to leave. Speaking of which, Kanai is back on her way back to the apartment. She's blocks away, frantically running in the direction of this building. She's a pretty fast runner, but she'll have to run faster than that if she wants to bust in here and cause a scene before we go. She senses she isn't going to make it up here in time and slows to a stop. She takes a moment to consider how she's going to play this. She's beside herself with rage. Her phone is out, poised to call someone. Probably me. But she needs to gather her thoughts and figure out what to say. She knows she's been played by now. She's sure of it, so she has to think of exactly what she can say to me to stop this from happening, or if nothing else, delay it long enough to force a confrontation. At least, these are all the things she's telling herself right now. They're only thoughts, after all, things she decided she believes after neurotically parsing certain patterns of behavior from me and her wife. I guess her ignorant alien position, it's reasonable to be suspicious that something shady's going on. But is it really? Is she so sure that she's not misunderstanding something? Could she have misread the signals, or falsely assigned nefarious intent to a perfectly innocent series of events? As her breathing slows, her calm is gradually restored. Suddenly she isn't so sure. Maybe she's gotten this wrong all along. If you want my take, I think she has gotten this wrong all along. That's right, Kanaya. You have been getting this all wrong since the very beginning.
Your head is spinning with doubt now. Why were you running so fast? Why is your heart beating like this? You find a nearby bench on the sidewalk and sit down to really reflect on this, to question everything you've been getting so worked up over. The thing is, what you're suddenly questioning isn't so much about whether your suspicions that Rose and I have been sneaking around behind your back are wrong per se. It's that you're starting to wonder if they are right, but you've been the one who's wrong to object. This revelation hits you like a kick in the chest. It's heavy, it hurts, but only for a moment. Then you find it's like a weight lifting off your shoulders, to finally face the truth. If Rose has been spending more time with me than you, if she's realizing she resonates more with me due to our natural similarities and finds my presence more rewarding in yours, then what does that say about you, Kanaya? Doesn't it confirm what you've always suspected deep down, that as flattering as someone like Rose would give you the time of day, and as nice as that made you feel for as long as she was willing to put up with you, the truth is, on some level, you always understood you were never good enough for her? Pale green tears are flowing down your face. You have no idea how long you've been crying. You noticed only now, because you've finally decided to confront the harsh reality of your marriage. It was always an illusion. You put your face in your hands and sob. The catharsis is relieving, bittersweet. Years of suppressed insecurities melt away. You're finally free of this. Alone, but yes, free. And so is she. You love her with all your heart, and because that, you genuinely want what's best for her, whatever will make her happy. And knowing this, that truly all you ever hoped was to help her be happy, to be the best person she could be, it brings you comfort. It quells the grief to a dull ache, one that you'll be grateful to keep for the rest of your life, because it'll always remind you of what you had with her. The tears have stopped flowing. You feel them drying on your face in the cool breeze. Your eyes are clear and focused. You know what you must do now. There's no crisis. There's nothing with which to intervene, nothing to stop. You tap your phone and hold it up to your ear. Rose? Rose, sweetheart. Kanaya, I'm so... Rose, it's okay. I know everything. You do? Yes, I understand what's going on now. I just want you to know how happy you made me. Oh, Kanaya, I won't be long. I just need to say a couple things. While I can, before I get too emotional about this. I finally get it. I know you and he belong together. I really hope you will both be happy. Wherever you're going and whatever you decide to do, I will always be thinking of you, and be grateful for the life we had together. I'll always remember you, Kanaya. Thank you so much for understanding. I didn't know how to... I thought, surely you would be... Rose turns her face into the bed to muffle her sobs. I'm holding the phone up to her ear. I move the phone quickly to follow the movement of her head. It's fine, really, sweetheart. I love you. I love you too. Goodbye, Rose. Before Kanaya hangs up, I quickly bring the phone to my ear to say a few words. Hey, Kanaya. Thanks for getting in touch before we take off. We both really appreciate that. Oh, sure. I'll take very good care of her, I promise. Thank you, Dirk. Hey, one last thing. Before you head back to the brooding caverns or wherever, you think you can do me a favor? Of course. You've probably heard by now that Jade is sick, in a coma or something. She's in the hospital. Yes. I've got an antidote for that, medicine of sorts. If you give it to her, it should wake her up almost immediately. I left it here on the counter in your apartment. You can come pick it up and bring it to her at your leisure. I see. Yes, I can do that. Awesome. Well, later. I hang up and toss the phone on the floor. She'll be here soon, so it's time to wrap this up. Rose is exhausted, emotionally, physically, the works. She's nodding off but struggling to stay awake. She doesn't want to miss anything important, but there's nothing left to do here. There's no reason to put any more strain on her than necessary. I pull out a syringe full of the same stuff as usual. Worked wonders on Jake, then Jade. Should knock Rose out well enough for the ride ahead. I inject it into her arm, and her head drops almost instantly. I pick her up and carry her like a sleeping princess. It slips my mind to bring along her bag of stuff. I walk to the sliding glass door, open it, and we fly away. But before we get completely out of Dodge, there's one more trifling matter I'd better take care of. It's a big day, but not one my dear brother's son and his irascible boy wife seem to be relishing. Dave and Karkat are both squatting in their shameful bunker of defeat,
all the curtains drawn shut so that the sunlight cannot disturb an atmosphere that was carefully cultivated to facilitate their sourpuss moping. The only illumination is emanating from their television screen, which broadcasts the bright and sunny scene of Jane's inauguration. She stands at a podium in front of a crowd of thousands of her adoring fans and subjects, belting out one killer speech. I wrote it, so you know it's good. But the mood in here is heavy. I think they've been coasting on denial for a while, but today's the day they have to finally accept that there are no takebacks, no do-overs. Jane is the president, and that's that. Carcat's all balled up on the couch as he stares hatefully at the televised production. He doesn't look up when Dave walks back into the room carrying 2 massive bottles of liquor. Hey, wanna get drunk? Huh? I went and got all this fucking booze.
You got booze?
Yeah, check it.
You actually went and got it. Like, you literally left the house and exchanged currency with a real-life person to obtain alcohol.
Yeah, I walked to the boozery all pigeon-toed and embarrassed like some fucking hooch noob. It was like, yo, what's the most pathetic thing you got to drink yourself to death with?
The boozery?
Passed right by the box wine, the bagged wine, the shots they put in the little blister packs by the register, the wine in little sippy cups with the most disposable plastic straws like juice for fucking babies. I made that last one up. I don't actually know anything about alcohol. Anyway, 2 plastic soda bottles of vodka coolers seem to be about where we're at right now. I think that's what this is anyway. I don't really care as long as it gets the job done. I decided that I'm an alcoholic now. I've always found inebriation to be distasteful, really. Never understood the personal appeal of it. And after seeing how indelicately its effects have touched the other members of our family, I can't help but feel like it's a waste of everybody's fucking time. I'd have a mind to tell him to dump it all in the sink if I weren't cutting down to the wire as it is. But you know what? Go the fuck ahead, bro. Might help him ease those ridiculous inhibitions for once in his life. Slide the stick out of his ass. Maybe slide something else up there instead, if you catch my drift. But I don't want to get ahead of myself here. At this stage, anything could happen. Dave sits beside Carcat on the couch and sets the alcohol down on the table in front of him. He sinks heavily into the cushioning with a sigh.
Have you now?
Yeah, it's never too late to develop a substance abuse problem. I've been thinking about it for a while, and it seems like it's time for me to finally get on the wagon of not being on the wagon.
That's really great, Dave.
Thanks. Anyway, how's the inauguration? You having a good time dwelling on every little tiny factor that cumulatively led to our electoral defeat? And now if one little thing had been different, it would have been us up there?
You and I both know nothing mattered in that campaign but Jake's fucking speech.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just keep imagining what would have happened if that absurd Rube Gold machine of life-ruining humiliation had been stopped at any point. Maybe just being backstabbed by his endorsement alone was something we could have recovered from with some rigorous counter-campaigning. But what if I had been fast enough to cut him off before he even said anything? What if I hadn't accidentally fallen on him on the stage when I was rushing over there to stop him? What if he hadn't freaked out like I set off fireworks next to a nom-vet and started trying to fucking scrum me? What if I just backed away from his punch with my legs like a normal person instead of warping the flow of time to escape? Causing him to become so startled that he shit his pants. What if I haven't gotten so visibly grossed out by the smell that even people watching it on TV could tell what happened? What if he hadn't started sobbing when the audience in the front rows started throwing up? What if we'd better security and stop that lady from running on stage during the fracas and announcing that Jake had been dodging paying child support for their 3 kids? Like, what was the line?
It wasn't that bad.
You think? Carcat falls into a distant, vacant 1,000-yard stare. See, that's why I'm an alcoholic now. Want a drink? I have sympathy. I really do. It's tough to devote so much time and effort to something, come so close to tasting victory, just to have it snatched out of your grasp at the final instant. I might even feel bad about it in any other circumstance, but this was how things had to be. It's better this way. They know that, at least. Carcat certainly does.
If I'm being perfectly fucking honest, I'm glad I lost. I never wanted to win in the first place.
Dude, come on.
No, I'm being serious. I'm not even doing some sour grapes I never wanted in the first place because I'm a sore loser trying to delude myself into thinking I don't care sort of thing. Obviously I fucking care, since now the planet is going to be ruined by this jumped-up fascist dictator who has every intention of gradually genociding my species into non-existence before my very eyes. But I cannot fucking think of a single thing in the universe I wanted to do less than be the stupid fucking president. Thank human Obama.
Wait, there's a troll Obama?
I'm the fucking troll Obama, remember?
Carcat, you would have been so much more than Obama. Goddamn if that isn't the most romantic fucking thing I've ever heard. If Kark had anything resembling a spine, he'd turn to Dave with those big sparkling shoujo eyes and finally open his tsundere heart to consummating their painfully obvious and mutually reciprocated passion. But he doesn't, so he gives a non-committal little sniff and turns back to the inauguration instead. Obviously, I've got an agenda here. It's pretty clear to me what these guys want out of this relationship, despite the fact that both of them being bottoms evidently makes it impossible for them to pass whatever ludicrous psychological obstacle stands between them and non-stop animalistic fucking. I've let it go on like this long enough. These stooges clearly need some help. I could insist that they just fucking go for it already using the methods available to me. I'd rather not. There are certain boundaries I'm not inclined to pass, primarily in the service to the emotional integrity of my friends' respective personal arcs. The little moments like these don't mean anything if they're coming from me, do they? As such, insistence isn't the tool I'd prefer. Persuasion is the one I'll reach for. And in a case like this, I can't imagine it's going to take that much. They fall into another silence that's comfortable as it has any right to be. The crowd is really going nuts for Jane now, since she's hit one of the best parts of my speech. She's just blasting the fuck off about how good the economy's gonna get. I can feel Dave's teeth grinding all the way down the narrative fabric of reality. Dave reaches out for the booze. It's past time to get wasted, he thinks. But Karkat is starting to realize how much of Dave's efforts mean to him. It's really welling up inside him now. He's so emotional about it that he can't help but say something. Hey. Dave stops him with his arm outstretched. His gaze turns to meet Karkat's, but Karkat's step can't bear to hold the eye contact for long. Looking at Dave is like staring straight at the sun. He's awfully handsome, isn't he? Then again, crawling out of a primo gene pool does have its benefits. Yeah, buddy, what's up? Hey, don't worry about it. You don't have to explain yourself to me. I get it. It makes sense. I'd always felt the same way, kind of. Like, about all my shit with Spurb or whatever. The reluctant hero's journey. That feeling that when you're being dragged along to being a kind of guy everyone's saying you have to be, but you've never before felt like, and there's no way you can really become. Where every second you feel so sick with yourself down and fear that you can't bear to even imagine the future. And you think, why me? Even though you know it can't be anyone but you, and that's why you have to do it.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to explain myself, though. I just wanted to thank you.
Huh? For what? Karkat's eyes drifted from the TV to the floor. The slightest of smiles tugs at the corners of his mouth. He feels something warm inside his chest. It feels right. It's something he needed to say.
For everything. Even if we didn't win, I'm glad we tried. I'm glad we went through this together.
Me too.
More than anything, You believe in me in a way that nobody ever has before. More than I've ever been able to believe in myself. And I've never really felt like this before.
Felt like what?
I mean, like, it's not like I've never had friends before, people I care about. But when people tell me they care about me on some level, it's really hard for me to buy it. They can list whatever justifications they have for liking me, and it all feels like bullshit. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? You can't really expect me to believe you seriously think this about me. There's no way you actually see me that way. You just feel bad for me. You're just talking down like I'm some sort of pathetic wiggler who needs to be coddled. Or you're just imagining I'm whatever way you wish I could be, some person who's better and smarter and stronger and kinder and more valuable than the person I really am. I can never understand why anyone I care about would ever waste their fucking time on me. But with you...
Karkat draws a breath and curls up on himself. His instinct is to pull back, but he's fighting it now. He needs to see this one through to the end.
With you, it makes sense, I guess. When you say something nice to me, I'm like, yeah, okay. That's comprehensible. I can see how you got from point A to point B. I can know you the way I do and think about who you are, and I can understand why you'd want someone like me beside you. I don't have to wonder what's missing. You're on my level, and I'm on yours. I believe that you see me in front of you the way I actually am, for better or worse, and still like me anyway. So even though it's still hard for me to believe in myself a lot of the time, I believe in you, so I don't need to.
So what you're saying is, you believe in the me who believes in you?
Dave, please. Yeah, kind of? Fuck, man, that's kind of deep.
I know.
So, yeah, that's what I've never really felt before. And I'm glad we're...
Come on, you're so close.
I'm glad you're my friend, Dave.
Oh, for the love of God.
This is practically slapstick at this point. My friend? That was the most excruciatingly overblown and socially maladapted love confession I've ever had the displeasure of watching, including my own, and he still managed to fumble it into the obscurity at the last moment. The guy was barreling in for an unimpeded touchdown and took a hard left straight into the friend zone. It's not like Dave is stupid. He's picking up on the subtext. It's just Carcat's cop-out that's filling him with doubt. It was a little too obviously sentimental. So obvious that maybe the friend thing was a deliberate warning. Maybe relationships aren't a thing Carcat can really do. Maybe if Dave crosses the line, he'll ruin everything. Better than excruciatingly liminal space, something more than a friendship but not quite love, than nothing at all. I took Dave right in his mind's eye and tell him to cut it the fuck out. He wants it, you want it, so just go for it, my man. It's now or never.
Oh, same.
I feel every brain cell in my immortal body begin to perish in real time. Dave, you cannot actually be that bad at this. How the hell are you walking around with my genes and still acting like this?
So,
look, even you can manage to top this guy. You've got it easy, dude. He's gonna open up for you like you rolled up on a Denny's at 3 a.m. with all the boys in a Groupon. You can do it. You can do it right here on the couch if you want. Dave scrunches up his face like he's constipated. Okay, maybe I'm getting it worked up. I need to dial it back. Something wrong?
Huh? No. Sorry, I just had an absolutely insane train of thought that kind of sent me for a loop.
What?
No, it's extremely better that I don't tell you. I kind of forgot what we were talking about because it was so awful.
You were talking about Carcat's feelings? He just dropped some touching-ass bomb about believing in you and you believing in him or whatever. You should really get to the root of where this was all coming from.
Oh yeah, right. All that shit you said about us being friends and on the same level or whatever? Yeah, I feel the same way basically. Or like, well...
What?
I'm not sure that I like...
Go on.
I'm getting the feeling that maybe there's a level to what we're thinking that isn't entirely coming across in words. And since we don't have the right words, we aren't getting the right actions either.
What are you talking about?
I feel like maybe we feel the same way about certain things, but what we're saying and what we're feeling, maybe those aren't exactly the same thing. And maybe we should...
We should what?
It's time to maybe talk about that.
Well, I guess this is progress? That?
Yeah, like how when you say we're friends, what does that mean?
That we're friends?
Yeah, but is that it? We're just friends?
Carcat looks like a deer caught in the headlights. Of course not. You're my best friend.
Oh, I see.
I've literally been decapitated, and that was less unbearable than this. I don't understand it. I just want you to be happy, man. Why can't you make anything easy for yourself?
Well, okay then.
Whatever. I don't have time for this shit. The gloves are coming off. The ninja training weights are history. It's time to get down to business. You look into Carcat's eyes. You see that twinkle? That's devotion. You unbelievably dense neutron star of dumb shit. It's sparkling like a visit from your fairy fucking godmother. That shit is pure and true. A supernova of all of your hopes and dreams swirling together like a radially effervescent kaleidoscope of more hot boy peckers than you could ever imagine. Dave? But you aren't imagining any peckers other than the one right in front of you. Carcat's probably quite modest and feminine alien penis is the only one you've ever thought about in years. Suddenly you can't even comprehend how it is you've gone so long without kissing him. You want to so badly. It would be so easy, and you know he wouldn't turn you away.
Carcat,
You lift a trembling hand and slowly close the scant distance between you to brush your thumb against Carcat's cheek. He freezes in place, terrified. Carcat's lips part, his breath held. His eyes are wide with anticipation. He looks beautiful like this, you think. All you have to do is press your mouth to his, and he'll finally know he's yours. You start to lean in. Carcat closes his eyes and relaxes into your hand. He's ready. It's happening. It's fucking happening.
Wait. Fuck.
What? What are you doing? Oh my god. I'm throwing my hands up in the air in the middle of the other shit I'm doing because this shit sucks just that much. What's wrong? Did I do something?
No, I just can't... Shit. It just feels like...
It feels like nothing, Dave. Don't worry about it.
What the fuck is going on? This feels really off.
Huh?
I don't know. I just keep having thoughts I know I'd never think.
Oh, come the fuck on. I'm going to have an aneurysm. He's hearing me but not listening to me. This dude has such a titanium grasp on his own born-again virginity that not even the literal hand of God can compel him to kiss his own goddamn boyfriend. What is that supposed to mean?
I have no idea. I'm sorry.
Dave pulls away. Karkat looks like he's about to throw up. I'm about to throw up, if I'm being perfectly honest. I don't know what to do at this point. He doesn't know it's me, but he's fighting my influence with every ounce of strength he's got. If I push any further, things could get messy, epistemologically speaking. I could try a more backdoor approach and nudge them toward the sauce, but I don't even know if that would help at this stage, and my timetable for direct physical intervention is fairly limited. I take a deep breath and get myself under control. My light psychological intrusions may have only made things worse. Invested as I am in the outcome of this encounter, I know forcing their hand would be a mistake. If Dave presses that threshold not of his own will, it'd be a hollow victory anyway. There's nothing I can do but settle down, step it back, and trust my boy to bring it home. The gears are turning in Dave's head. He knows he stands at a precipice, and what he decides here could mean everything. Maybe that forced kiss seemed wrong, but he knows what he feels doesn't. He can't deny that. And he can't just forget the fact that he went for it. Karkat wasn't pulling away. At the end of the day, he knows what the truth is. Really, he always has. So what are you going to do, Dave? This time, it's really up to you. Dave meets Karkat's eyes in a rare moment of clarity. It's then, I think, that they both finally realize what's been obvious to everyone all along. With a measured motion, Dave pulls his shades off his face. If Karkat was stunned before, he's even more stunned now. The privilege of a Strider Eye moment is about the most earth-shattering experience a young man will ever have in his life. For once, neither of them have anything stupid to say. All they have is an electric connection that is no longer possible to ignore. Dave brings his hand back up to Karkat's cheek in a gesture much more confident than the last. He's not rushing anything this time. He's only doing what feels right, taking it in each second as a time. Karkat's tension begins to dissipate from his body in stages. His stiff shoulders drop. His guarded expression relaxes. And when he covers Dave's hand with his own, he's not shaking at all. Karkat helps Dave slip his hand from the side of his face to cup around the nape of his neck. It's a tender, steadying touch. Dave applies only the slightest pressure to draw him forward, and Karkat follows his lead. They're so close that Dave can feel Karkat's shallow breath ghosting over his skin. Karkat's eyes are shimmering and wet as they flutter closed, moisture beating in his thick eyelashes. His tongue darts out to wet his lips. All that's left is just one more step, just one final inch, and it's over. They both moved to close the distance at the same time. There's a second to where both of them freeze like that, still in the intimate contact. Nothing but the warmth of each other's bodies and the dawning realization of a significant boundary crossed. Dave draws in a sharp breath, lets his lips part, and just a little more. That's it. Yes. Wait, Dave, don't linger. Some lines of stress appear on his face. He's struggling with something. No, Dave, don't fucking do this. He's grinding his teeth and putting both hands to his temples. Beads of sweat drop his brow. This is so fucking unreal. Holy shit, Dave, if you so much as get the fuck out of my head and just let me do this myself. Dude, come here. Oh my god. He just fucking, wow. Dave lunges forward and kisses Karkat directly on the mouth. It's like a dam has burst. Neither of them could hold anything back now, even if they wanted to. It's like, goddamn, I'm sorry. I'm blowing the description here. I'm missing a lot of good shit. It just caught me so off guard, Dave. My dude, I'm so proud of you. Okay, I can do this. I fucking need to do this justice. Cracks the motherfucking knuckles out of a yaoi poet and gets down to business. You know what? No. I'm not going to intercede with a single word further, and I won't let you either. I won't cheapen this beautiful moment with my base editorialization just to satisfy your voyeuristic curiosity. Frankly, I'm offended you'd even expect me to. What they're getting up to here is nobody's business but theirs. Dave Cat is canon, and that's really all there is to say on the matter. Let's give these crazy lovebirds some privacy and move on. I was expecting this to be sort of a thing about compulsory sexuality. But instead it's whatever this is. I don't know how to feel about it. I got the stitch in my side again. You get a Thin Mint.
forgot that McMansion was a real word. I'm inside Jake's mansion. It's just as idiotically garish as the last time I saw it. There was once a time I swore I'd never set foot in here again for various reasons I won't get into. Jake is the type of guy who makes you say stuff like that, but he's also the type who reminds you to never say never. Here I fucking am again, in this useless dickhead's dime store McMansion, but only because I need one of his ships. Rose is still asleep from the drugs. I put her on that monstrous overstuffed velvet couch over there. My guy Squarewave is here too. I need his help today because there's a lot of cargo to wrangle. He's wheeling something around on a hand truck. Something about the height of Rose, roughly rose-shaped, and wrapped in a cloth. I know she's gonna love it for the first time she sees it. But the only way she'll be able to do that is when she's awake and looking in a mirror. Jake owns Skynet, a company which, among many other things, manufactures spaceships. They do a stiff business selling these rigs, especially with all the new military contracts the Crocker administration's been handing out. If it weren't for his connection to a good supply of quality StarCraft, I'm not sure I'd even bother stopping by before leaving. I'd have to think about it. Yeah, we're friends, I suppose. Man, I had a little upset stomach. Yeah, we're friends, I suppose, but there really isn't much I have to say to this guy anymore. But as long as I'm here, I have to confess I've been mulling over a few choice remarks to let him chew on while I'm gone. I didn't tell him I'd be coming. That would be a scene. He'd prepare too much, roll out the red carpet, so to speak, suggest plans, stammer nervously, throw on something a bit more skin-hugging than usual. I may have already mentioned, but I'm a bit too deft at this for my own good, doing the thing where I tug at the part of someone's latent thought process that already knows they adore me. That is, if someone would just pull the stops from their sense of inhibition, they'd realize they would do anything for me. Though I could be overselling my methods of persuasion while shortchanging my natural aura of charisma and dashing good looks. Maybe I'm just that fucking charming? There are times when I actually do manage to underestimate my positive qualities, believe it or not. Normally, corralling Jake's attention is like greasing up your whole naked body and tackling a shrieking hog on rocket skates. There was always a part of his mind that was conflicted about me, intrigued, titillated, wary. But now he's just plain obsessed. That wasn't really what I was going for, but hey, with political warfare comes collateral damage. It's harmless enough anyway. It's not like I gave him a sick scar or anything that would hurt his value as a priceless sexual commodity. The only thing affected was his brain. It's a bit like someone hacked a comment section. Who gives a shit? Dirk! I glance up the stairs, where he's standing on the precipice overlooking the foyer. Yeah, he definitely wasn't expecting company. I read that line wrong. Dirk! He's completely nude, except for a pair of boxers with a pattern of green skulls, pistols, and some shapes that are probably supposed to be pot leaves. He blunders down the stairs at top speed, runs over, and gives me a huge bro hug, making my spine pop. God, he's so fucking strong. I hate that the brief feeling of being crushed by this oaf makes my dick twitch slightly. Hey, Jake. Isn't this a heap of Shialays and shamrocks? I had no idea you had plans to visit my humble abode, to swing about the old manor du Chez Anglais, as they say. That's 3 different fucking languages. So what brings you here, pal? I seem to recall the last time we were bumming about the Rumpus Cabana, you swore me on some sort of blood oath you never set foot in here again without one of your customary dramatic flourishes. Yeah, well, I meant it at the time. Let's just leave it at that. Okie dokie. Gosh, it's so good to see you. So good. He's gently stroking the side of my arm now, making no effort to disguise his interest in the contours of my muscles. I use that arm to put a hand on his shoulder in an affable way, so that he's forced to stop. Listen, man, you got a spare spaceship lying around? We're going on a trip. I nod in the direction of the couch. Jake's eyebrows shoot up. Oh, I didn't even notice Rose was there. Wow, she looks really zonked. Bad hangover, I presume? Hold the phone. Wasn't she supposed to be off the sauce? Or is that not a thing anymore? It's not a hangover. She's just tired. Can you help us out? Of course, mate. I got frickin' scades of the things lying around. Prototypes, secret experimental models, Galaxy-class ballbusters, dog-eared for the white shirts and the gum mint. Oh, that's just government, but stupid. They pay some tidy coin for this industrial military what's-it, you know. I'm gritting my teeth, focusing on breathing steadily. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Anything, really. Something fast. Fast? We can do fast. He scurries over to a new money-looking Baroque antique cabinet, his ample junk swinging in his loose boxers free as a jaybird. He opens a small door and rifles through a stack of stray papers and captcha cards.
Here's one. Ought to do you splendidly.
Thanks, bro. I take it. We're almost through this dirty little bit of business. I know there's more, though. There always is with him. In fact, here it comes. I can smell it a while away. I can know exactly what he's about to say, and the buoyant obliviousness with which he'll say it.
So where are we going?
Yeah, I thought this misunderstanding might happen. My bad, man. I wasn't clear up front. We aren't going anywhere. It's just me and Rose on this trip.
Ooh, I see. Well, when you live the married life, I suppose from time to time one must get away from the old ball and chain one way or the other. So it's a stag night of sorts, in space, with a gay girl instead of a fella. And not me.
Yes. Jake falls quiet for a moment as his pitiful pea-brain struggles to process the shocking information.
Gadzooks. We'll say no more then. So, how long will you be away? Does Kanaya know of all these shenanigans?
Yes, we've discussed it. She's okay with it.
Whew, good to see there's no trouble in paradise. They've always had the most lovely marriage. On the other hand, you know how those dames can be.
Argh. He shakes his fist to demonstrate whatever bad point he's making.
There are times, let me tell you, I feel like I dodged a bullet by not jumping in the matrimonial broom with Jane. I love her to death, obviously, and I'd do fucking anything for her, especially now that she's El Presidente. Why is there an Enye there? Presidente? Cripes! Ooh boy, sometimes I can hardly believe how that sounds, but sure is what happened, isn't it? Partly thanks to a humdinger of a speech by yours truly, but wow, never mind that old saw. What I'm saying is, I don't know what I'm saying. We guys need to stick together sometimes and live our lives and not, well, play such ornamental roles in the lives of our important and powerful womanly counterparts, dear to us though they may be. I think maybe I'm saying we should hang out more, Dirk. No pressure, I mean, when you get back from your extraterrestrial camping trip, of course. When did you say you were coming back?
He's sweating, more nervous than I've ever seen him before, stammering, desperate. I need to be brutally direct with this poor guy. Enough's enough. I won't be coming back, Jake. His mouth is hanging open, not a shred of restraint in his crestfallen posture, but he needs to hear this, all of it.
Like, wait, you aren't
coming back. Ever.
Ever?
Yeah.
But I don't... Why, Dirk?
The tears are starting to come. His composure is breaking. He's staring intently at my face as if trying to drink in every precious moment of what he knows in his heart will be the last time we ever see each other. He takes in every drop of light reflecting from my beautiful face. The sculpted cheekbones, the warrior's eyebrows, the deadly serious yet exquisitely kissable mouth. This is the face he lives for now, a visage that in mere minutes will vanish from his life forever. The tears drop. His voice cracks.
Please take me with you, Dirk.
I can't do that, Jake. It's not within the parameters of this mission.
But what mission? I can't do this alone, Dirk. This life, whatever's happening now, whatever's expected of me, I can't do it. Not without you.
You're going to have to, man. Jane needs you more now than ever. She has a tough road ahead. It's hard running a planet, but she'll whip it into shape. I trust her, and so should you.
But
she needs you at her side. If all goes well, she'll rule Earthsea for millions of years, and you'll be critical to that reign.
I don't know what to do, Dirk. I don't know how to help someone rule. I don't know the first thing about strategy or advising or policy or...
I almost burst out laughing, but I managed to control myself. Jake, nobody wants you to do any of that. Well, I know Jane sure doesn't.
Then what?
You'll just be, her candy boy. I shouldn't... her candy boy?
Candy boy?
Yeah, being on call. Serving a multi-million-year term of giving her the right kind of presidential action she needs to keep going. To keep her morale up and such. To provide her with many heirs. Doesn't that sound cool?
Heirs?
Yeah, like kids. A lot of them. Think about it. You could have thousands of kids. They'll all grow old and die because they aren't god-tiers like both of you are, but you just keep having more. Sounds pretty badass to me, like getting to live through your entire future family tree. To watch your own endlessly branching dynasty flourish. I'm almost a little jealous.
No, that sounds dreadful. Dirk, please.
I glance at a clock on the wall. This needs to end soon. There are a lot of important things to still be done, and this sure isn't one of them. Time to man up, Jake. This is what your life is now. It's only bad if you treat it this way. It's actually fantastic. Someday you'll get it. No, Dirk, I can't bear to let you go. You've meant so much to my whole life. I probably did a bad job of showing that because I'm such a shitty, blubbering fucking numbnut idiot. You don't think I know I'm a fucking bonehead who no one respects? But you're all I have to keep me anchored to any feeling of true self-worth I had. You taught me so much. Remember the old days in Spurb, Dirk? Those were the absolute bee's knees. Jesus Christopher Clowncock, Dirk. You taught me about combat, philosophy, life, love, Dirk. I'm so bad with feelings. I never said it when we were together, but I love you, Dirk. I love you. There, I said it. I love you. I've never loved anyone so much in my whole life. He waits a second for a response, but my face doesn't move a muscle. He won't dare waste this momentum, though. He threw in the penny. Here comes the pound. Dirk, I'm begging you. Just take me with you. It's fine. You don't have to love me. I'm okay with that. Whatever you want. I just need to be with you, near you, anything. I can't stay here. Please, not without you. I want to be anywhere, but as long as it's with you. He explodes into tears, a sloppy volcanic eruption of mucus, ugly noises, and the tatters of a bared soul. He begins slumping to the ground, but I grab his shoulders roughly and lift him up with a violent jerk. I look into his eyes furiously. My glare is incinerating. It halts his infantile whining. Like a cranky baby somewhere just got tossed into the vacuum of space. He's scared, no, terrified, of being left with no one who truly cares for him, of the magnitude of his raw, perilously unearthed feelings, but most of all, right here, right now, he's terrified of me. I pull him close with all my strength, flush to my body, wrap my arms around him to cradle the back of his head in my calloused palm, and I kiss him. It's the softest kiss I've ever given. My lips yield in a way that feels to him impossibly, miraculously forgiving, like cannonballing into a frozen lake only to discover it's not frozen at all. It's not even water. It's a sheet 1,000 of layers of silk. It's a pool of a trillion discrete tiny shimmering beads of chilled mercury. It's the final gentle exhale of the most beautiful symphony ever played. It's the soothing, mythically rumored oasis where the satyrs and nymphs once took pleasure and together forged the very concept of comfort we understand today. It lasts a fleeting moment. 2 ticks of the clocks over there. 2 ticks longer than anyone will ever kiss him like that again. 2 ticks longer than he deserved. I move my hands up to his face, and with my palms on his wet cheeks, I gently push his head about 6 inches away from my face and say, "I'm sorry, Jake, but I'll never let you break my heart again." Abruptly, I turn and walk to the couch. I pick up Rose, not at Squarewave. He springs into action, pushing the hand truck out the door. Without looking back, I follow and slam the door behind me. Kanaya Miriam is single and ready to mingle. Alright, not really, but she's coping admirably with the sudden departure of her beloved spouse. She's doing her best not to think about it. That's how you get past something. Just put it out of your mind, train your thoughts on a hopeful future, and stop dwelling on the many little micro failures in your past that all added up to a doomed marriage. She's looking directly ahead, chin up, taking firm, confident strides. The heels of her designer shoes click loudly on the hospital linoleum. She grips the antidote I left for her with both hands as she scans the hall for the room number she got from the front desk. She hears Roxy's voice before she sees the number and follows the sound. She enters the room. There's Jade, still as a corpse, propped up slightly in her bed as the adjacent heart monitor beeps gently. Roxy is sitting next to her in a chair, still looking every bit the slick and cool dude he's been presenting as these days. Nice. There's nobody else in the room. I guess he was talking to Jade? That's very kind, but she still can't hear you, Roxy. She'll be able to soon enough, though, and when she does, you'll probably want to be the one listening to what she has to say. Oh, hey. Hello. How is she? Sleeping. I don't know. Yes, I see. I brought this. What's that? Kanaya pops the cap off the EpiPen-style delivery mechanism for the antidote and jabs it into Jade's arm. Her hands twitch a bit, and her body begins to stir. Her mouth opens like a crack and lets out a barely audible whimper. Her eyes open wide, suddenly. Her bright green irises dart around the room, trying to solve the riddle of her present location. Roxy peers intently through his shades to get a better look. My side hurts really badly. Seriously, that's super weird. I've never talked so much that I found out that the right side of my body hurts if I talk too much. She opens her eyes quite wide suddenly. Her bright green irises dart around the room, trying to solve the riddle of her present location. Roxy peers intently through his shades to get a better look. They're Jade's same old eyes, playful, intelligent, but they seem different somehow. These are eyes that have seen so much more than they had the last time they were open. Jade! Oh my god, Jade, you're awake. How you feeling? Jade stares at Roxy. If she mistakes him for Dave, it isn't for long. She hears the beeping next to her, glances out the window. This is a hospital room, she understands now. Her mind races, sifting through the overwhelming amount of information that became available to her the moment the trance began. The scope of her awareness, she now understands, is truly staggering. Memories are suddenly accessible that are almost impossible to believe. Some of them are unspeakably marvelous to her, others deeply disturbing. No, more than just disturbing. She lingers in the dark recesses of her conscience. There were things she saw, things she was told. Her mouth twists into a silent snarl. She's been angry plenty of times before, but never so angry that she stopped being cute. She's not cute this time. She starts breathing harder, belligerently pushing the air from her nostrils. The beeping doubles its pace. Her eyes are wild, no longer seizing up the room but calculating the true extent of the turbulent rage coursing through her body. Her brow creases sharply, and her nose wrinkles as her upper lip rises and quivers. Then it hits her. She knows exactly why she's feeling this way. She bolts upright from her bed and shouts. I can't do a shouting Jade voice, but... Dirk Strider has to be stopped! She's right, of course. I do have to be stopped. Not because I'm really that bad. I mean, I don't think I am. I'll understand if there are those who disagree. If my agenda was to try as hard as I could to make sure no one thought I sucked, what the fuck would ever get done? How would I go about taming this world, or shaping reality for the better? And if I didn't bother pursuing those goals and thereby tactfully accepting the untold suffering that resulted from my inaction, wouldn't that make me a bad person? If I... The fucking hose, oh my god. If I try and succeed, I'm a hero, right? And if I try and fail, at least I made the things interesting on my way to the grave. There would be a tragic nobility in that. And the way I see it, settling for anything less from my arc would be, frankly, pathetic. So yeah, of course, I know I have to be stopped. It's part of the contract. What you sign up for when you assume the burdens of this sort of power. When there is that much which must be subdued and suborned for the greater good, there is that which will be instinctively resist. That which intuits whatever is going on here is wrong. Otherwise, intervention wouldn't even be necessary, would it? If reality and those within it were already so intrinsically pliable, so amenable to deviating from their own nature, the sins of men and faults of God would have no rigidity or resilience. There'd be no challenge in forcing their correction, no reward in ramming salvation down their throats. I know this isn't coming cheap, what I'm trying to do. The cost of it is knowing I need to be stopped. I accept it consciously, and when the time comes, if it comes, I'll offer myself up gladly. But I'm not a fool. I know what accepting this cost really means, through any objective narrative faculty, no matter how I rationalize things, how grandly I array my supreme designs, or how indulgent and self-obsessed my concluding soliloquy may come across. I'm perfectly aware of what I've become in all practical ways. I'm the villain now. It's gotten impossible for me to see this result as anything but inevitable from the day I was spawned from a puddle of slime. I want to be a good person. I believe I'm a good person. But when you're someone like me, good is never going to be quite good enough. The problem is, I think power like mine can only make antagonistic intent unavoidable. Who could wield such power over people's choices in the course of events without ultimately becoming the enemy of anyone who notices? Maybe a stronger person than I could manage to pull it off. Someone like Dave. So when I say I know I need to be stopped, I guess it's more than accepting my end of a diabolical bargain. I know I need to be stopped, because I'm sure deep down, somewhere inside my infinitely recursive sense of self, I know what's going on here is all just a little bit sick. To be honest, I'd consider killing myself and sparing reality all the trauma from the jump. I mean, legit suicide, not one of those melodramatic faux suicidal plays for attention, sympathy, or Jake's dick. But to really do it for keeps, for a truly selfish purpose? Nah, too cowardly for that. Too afraid to stop existing for good. Wouldn't you be if you were me? Therein lies the problem. If I weren't me, obviously I'd consider myself much less indispensable. Only worthless people permit themselves the great luxury of a valorous sacrifice. When the deed is done, what was really lost? It's like the guy in the mailroom quitting in a self-righteous huff. Who the fuck were you again? No, when the sense of self is so substantial, when the fate of everything turns on every vain whim of an ego, this entrenched in the very medium that contains all else, there's a certain existential sunk cost that goes with the whole deal. A persona that vast doesn't just self-terminate, it won't allow itself to. That's why when someone finally comes knocking for the price I owe, I'll fully welcome it. By then it'll have been a long time coming, and I'll probably have done more than my share to make sure, somewhere along the way, it all got put into motion. What good is a villain who doesn't have a satisfying dramatic comeuppance in store for him? So yeah, the next time I die, let's pencil it in as a just death. And also, let's have it on good authority that the next time Dave cuts off my head, it'll be for good. I'll be looking forward to that day just as much as the next guy. So, Dirk needs to be stopped from doing what again? Everything! Whatever he's trying to do right now! Woof, this is hard to explain. Are you sure, Jade? After all, he's the one who provided me with the medicine that just woke you up. He did? Yes. Huh. Okay, but he's the one who shot me in the first place. He what? Why would he do that? He needed me to be asleep so that he could, what's going on right now is really abstract, I'm sorry. But you have to believe me, this is a crisis. Okay, but maybe we shouldn't rush to judgment. You've been in a coma for some time. Maybe it's best to take a little while to recover and then gather your thoughts. But for now I don't see much reason to doubt Dirk's good intentions. He gave me this medicine, and we just had a pretty good talk today. I think it helped me clear the air on a few things, and now I feel better, I think. Sad and heartbroken, yes, but free. Free? What are you talking about, Kanaya? What did he say? He's going to take good care of Rose, probably much better than I'll ever be able to. I'll miss her, but at least I'm thankful for that. Thankful? Kanaya, did Dirk kidnap Rose? No, it's not like that at all. You see, Okay, yes, I know how this must sound. So, where is Rose? Is she with him? Yes, I guess they've formed a strong human familial bond that it's no longer necessary for Rose to have me as her spouse. And now they will leave this planet together and do important things, I guess, which do not concern us. What? No, I know, it probably sounds, I know how it sounds, but believe me, the appearances are misleading here. The appearance, just like, the dude kidnapped your fucking wife and pieced out? Yes? You see? Something's wrong. Can I just ask, how did you come to feel this way? To be okay with this, I mean. Did Dirk convince you to be fine with this directly, in a conversation, or did you just make peace with it on your own? I was running around desperately trying to catch them in the act of their duplicitous behavior, and then I sat down and thought about it, and realized I was being foolish. That it was better to let Rose go if this is what she really wanted. There! That's it! That's what I'm talking about! Kanaya, there's no way you would just let Rose go like that without someone pulling the strings. Dirk's been fucking with you. He's been fucking with all of us. God damn, really? Yes! Kanaya, think about it for a second. Think about how you really feel about Rose, all of this. Are you sure you're just fine with Rose leaving like that? It's fine, Kanaya. Why don't we just say I'm invoking the mercy rule here? Jade is onto me, obviously, but I wouldn't have even let her wake up if there was anything you could all do about it right now. As the cherub resurfaces in her mind, I'll be fading out of here soon anyway. I don't see any reason to keep my dear friends in limbo any longer than they need to be. So forget what I said. All that stuff about you not being good enough for her. It probably wasn't true. I mean, what do I know? How worthy are you of another's company just matters of the choices you make, right? I'm sure you could figure out how to prove your worth to her if you really tried. For now, the only thing that matters is to acknowledge it's too late for any of that. Wait, I'm confused. Huh? Why didn't I at least demand to see my wife before they departed while I had Dirk on the phone? Oh my god, you didn't even see her before she left? No, at the time it didn't feel right to ask, I guess. I was so devastated I thought that I should just... I don't know what I thought. What was I thinking? Kanaya stares into the distance. The best fucking question anybody ever asked is, why am I so fucking awesome? I believed I've recently provided more than enough material to supply an answer to that question, but Kanaya may have just asked the second best fucking question anybody ever asked. What was she thinking? What are any of us thinking, really? Who's doing the thinking, and who's having the thoughts? The more you study the question, the more it seems like all concrete forms of accountability go up in smoke. Her original thoughts were never that important, and the significance of the idea that she was the one authoring them is a bit overrated. My mission is to someday clear all this up for everyone. Remove the ambiguity, suck the mud out of the water. It'll be a lot better that way, trust me. Have I lost my fucking mind? She's really pissed. Yikes. Couldn't pay me to be in that group right now, not for all the agency in the world. What has Dirk done to my wife? Whoa, what do you mean there? He did something to her. He's corrupted her in some way. I know Rose. I love Rose. She would never do something like this to me. She wouldn't do it to anyone, not unless she was under duress in some way. It's Dirk. It's always been Dirk. He's behind all this. I'll get him for this. I swear that I shall make him pay dearly for stealing my beloved wife. Jade! She uses both hands to grab Jade by the hospital gown and starts shaking her vigorously. But she's unlikely to get answers from her that way. If anything, she'll cause her to go silent a lot more quickly than she was about to anyway. She's just resting the spirit from her slumber. Tell me everything you know. Why does Dirk have to be stopped? What does that mean? How did you learn all this? Tell me your secrets, damn it. Can I please stop shaking me? I'm sorry. When I was asleep, I saw things, and I was visited in my dreams by the old muse who once helped us, Callie's ghost double, and there was so much, all these memories from different timelines and such, sad memories, visions of death and sacrifices, a great battle with Lord English. It was so overwhelming and hard to make sense of. Yes, but what about Dirk? I'm trying to get to that. The thing with Dirk is it's happening. Roxy notices right away because she's seen it before, and Kanaya sees it too. A distant look in her eyes as she trails off. They get cloudy, turn gray, and then fill in completely, as if jet black ink were flooding the vitreous bodies of her eyeballs. Jade isn't here anymore. And with that, I'll be getting my hat and coat, so to speak. No use lingering around here much longer. The cherub is already beginning to drown me out. I can feel it. But this time, I'm ready. Jade? Yeah, aw, no, not again with this shit. Jade, no, please snap out of this grim condition of sorts. I need you to tell me what you know. She's not going to tell you shit, not for a good while anyway. It's up for the cherub to let it go now, and I doubt she'll do that because I'm light years away from this planet. She'll keep jamming my signal and won't dare to risk stopping until she knows I'm at a safe distance. Kind of a catch-22, right, Kanaya? The one who's protecting you from all my influence is also blocking you from getting any answers. Not that you'd know what to do with them anyways. They will know what to do when they are ready. Ha, sure. They'll all just hop in a spaceship and go on a wild goose chase trying to hunt me down. I know that already. It's not rocket science, except for the fact that it literally is. Kanaya, please chill. I've seen this before. There's no use breaking her out of this, except, I guess by doing what Dirk did? Shooting her and waking her up and... Man, poor Jade. Yes, poor Jade. Poor me. Poor Rose. Poor everyone. Fuck Dirk. Ah! She picks up the heart monitor and throws it out the hospital window. Holy shit. She picks up the heart monitor and throws it out the hospital window. Oh yeah, I guess I don't need to fucking do this anymore. Don't worry, I'll bow out. Seems like you got this from here. Go nuts, Skullgirl. The monitor smashes on the pavement below, shattering into 1,000 pieces. Spectators gather around and look up. Roxy is looking out the broken window with an apologetic demeanor, a hand to his mouth. Kanaya drops to the floor and begins weeping again. She feels the sorrow anew from her wife's departure, with a sense of rage and pain unshrouded by the veil of the prince. Neither she nor her friends will have to worry about him anymore, so long as they remain on this planet under my protection. But a bunch of them won't remain, will they? They won't be able to help themselves. You know that. He has to be stopped. He has to be stopped. Huddled on the floor. No, that's the wrong voice. Huddled on the floor, she repeats this pledge to herself. Theoretically, he could be stopped before he leaves if they are hurried. They would need to know what to do, where to go, and to have the motivation to do it, but time is short. I could push them to with a certain degree of intervention, but I will not. My unwillingness to do so is what separates me from him. And what corporeal life needs now is someone presiding over them who is nothing like him at all. That's a nice line. I get why you'd want to dial up the drama, making your grand re-entrance and all, but the fact is, even if they wanted to, even if you brain-fried them all to become your own personal cherubic puppets and set them on the warpath to come get me, they'd still never catch me. You still don't get it yet. I'm already gone. Later that night, Jade had been removed from the hospital to the Troll Kingdom. She now sits in a wheelchair, remaining in perfect silence with her dark eyes open to maintain any transmission. Roxy and Kanaya rolled her into the living room of Dave and Karkat's hive earlier that evening. This is where they all sit now, discussing the day's troubling events. Roxy is using his phone to pursue leads on the whereabouts of the prince. Yep. Oh yeah, for sure. You too, Jake. Thanks, man. Yeah, we'll let you know what we're gonna do. Later. He hangs up and sighs dramatically. Poor guy. What'd he say? A lot of it was hard to make out due to all the sobbing, but yeah, it's like we thought. Dirk borrowed one of his ships and got the fuck out. But did he say where? Nope. Doubt he told anybody, to be honest. In fact, I'd say the odds are he didn't even know where he's going yet. Why do you think that? I don't know, I just know the guy. Also, like, what's even out there? Dude's got a ship and now he's hauling ass randomly about with Rose to, I don't know, prove some point. What about Jane?
We aren't calling Jane.
Why not?
Because I wouldn't believe a single word that comes out of her fat fascist mouth.
That's stupid, I'm calling her. I dislike the woman as well, but I will leave no possibility unexhausted in striving to rescue my wife from that madman. She takes Roxy's phone and presses Jane's name into the contact list. She moves to the far side of the room to speak, while the others continue conversing. So, woo. Dave makes a noise humans sometimes do by expelling air through his closed fleshy lips, creating an impolite flapping effect. Brrr. Rose and Dirk, huh? Yep. Rose and fucking Dirk. Damn, so are they like... Man, I'm never gonna hear the end of it if I'm the one to ask this question, am I? I've got too many goofy, dumbass foot and mouth family blunders to be the guy asking this fucking question, and yet here I am, asking it. What are you talking about? You know, are they like... together? What? You know, like...
What this dumbass is asking is if they're doing human intercourse activities.
Oh my god. Karkat, please. Oh my god. Karkat, they're related. Humans don't do that when they're related to each other, okay?
Don't talk down to me. I'm not a fucking wriggler. I'm familiar with your concept of human incest.
Yeah, okay, not to be that guy, even though I'm totally being that guy. If it never happened, we wouldn't have a word for it. I really don't think... I mean, they wouldn't. There's no way. It makes no sense. For one, Dirk is gay, and isn't Rose gay too? Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows what Rose's deal is exactly. Pause. Alright, I'm back. Where was I? I can pause this stream at any time. I hold so much power. I'm as powerful as Dirk and Alt Calliope, obviously. Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows what Rose's deal is exactly. Of all of us who could have ended up eloping to have illicit incestuous relationships, they definitely would have been the last two I've put of money on. And yet, it sure is real fucking weird what they seem to have gone off and done, isn't it? Don't even say that. Just thinking about it makes my skin crawl.
You guys are so fucking weird about stuff like this. Like, seriously? That's the issue here? The shithead went and stole Kanaya's mate spread, apparently, by mystically underhanded means. There's practically no limit to the dimensions we could be getting angry about this on. But here we are instead, doing it to the point, doing this pointless thing you people always do when it comes to incest.
Us people?
I know, I'm a fucking xenophobe. Let's just all agree I'm a big shitty xenophobe about this and move on.
Jesus fucking Christ. Hey, Kanaya, how's that phone call going? Jane's chief of staff has put me on hold. It seems my solicitation does not register as a priority in this administration. I cannot say I am surprised.
Tell her to register my heaving bulge as a priority.
I will not tell her that.
Anyway, you guys are all so fucked up about this, that's all I'm saying. This is objectively not the worst thing about this scenario. It's not even a remotely notable factor. Why are we even talking about this? It's so performative. Is there something you're trying to prove by constantly competing to be the most scandalized by your own completely arbitrary social constructs?
Yo, dogs, I know we get up to some jank barrel bottom as fuck convo sometimes, but this one, I'd even K anymore. I know you're an alien and all, but in these dire straits, can we maybe not riff on the subject of fucking incest? FWIW, the shit... What does that even mean? The shit really does bug the hell out of me. If I can confirm on behalf of my species that, yeah, the idea kinda sucks according to pretty much literally everybody, we can agree to stop talking about it.
See, that's what I'm fucking talking about. You grew up one of two humans on your entire planet. Where the fuck do you get any frame of reference for this shit? Admit it, you only pretend to be bothered by this because your human society tells you that your performance of disgust is virtuous.
No, dude, no.
Also, excuse me, can I just fucking ask, since when did you start cosplaying as Dave?
Dude,
what?
do you even fucking know anything? You're a ham-brained boner stooge doesn't know anything, are you? I'm very sorry, Roxy, that my ham-brained boner stooge of a boyfriend doesn't know fuck all about Jack Dick. It's okay, he's like fucking right. I get mistaken for you, like, well, it's been happening. I should have known. I really thought about all the pink I'm wearing would help that. I don't know if I'll keep messing with it. No, you look great, like super duper great, just perfect. Like, I could not honestly be more proud of your fashion choices.
Christ, Dave, it sounds like you're about to kiss your mother just to prove me wrong.
First of all, she's not my mother anymore. Roxy's not my mother anymore. Wait, Roxy, did we actually decide in the protocol what I'm supposed to call you? I have literally no comprehension of the etiquette here, because you're technically my bio mom, but it's not as if I literally came out of your vagina or anything, and like, well, considering what's going down right now, I'm not too attached to the sanctity of Dirk being my dad. You can formally replace him as my daddy right now if you want.
Wow, the woke master is on fucking fire, people. He'll be here all night.
Oh, shut the fuck up. What's your problem? Why are you acting like this?
Acting like what?
A huge belligerent dickhead. Are you craving attention? Is that it? Did I get you hooked?
What the fuck are you talking about?
I see how it is. You got one hot hit of sincerity from your fresh boy Dave, and now you're itching in your pants every second you go without it. You know, if you want to hold my hand or some shit, you can just do it now.
I have no desire to do that at all.
Come on, our relationship doesn't have to be a ludicrous, unending performance of emotional constipation anymore. We got a character developed, bitch. Come here.
What the fuck are you doing? Get away from me.
No, Christ, you're like a flighty little muskrat. Stop squirming.
Get your hands off me, you smelly bag of shit. I hate you.
No way, no you don't. You love me. We're gonna be together forever.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up.
And I'm gonna profess my undying love to you in the form of kiss.
No!
What great ace representation, guys. Oh, goodness. This epilogue invariably has things that I do not like about it. But it is incredibly interesting and worth reading. Thin mints.
All the tsundere yaoi you could ever want.
Yaoi? 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 Yowie. Yowie. Yow. Yowie. Does the O become a semivowel? God damn it. I hate words. For all the vigor of his oral protests, Karkat does not offer sufficient physical objection to prevent Dave from successfully planting a kiss on his cheek. The gesture causes Karkat to deflate instantly. He goes limp in Dave's arms, eyes wide. Dave is no longer so sure of his ability to freely engage in public displays of affection. Suddenly very self-conscious, he pulls back, leaving a significant foot of distance between himself and Karkat once they've collected themselves. Dave awkwardly clears his throat. Karkat wipes off his cheek. Both are looking in opposite directions. Aw, you boy's cute. Hey, can you just forget you saw that? Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. For what? For doing something that turned that steaming dogshit fire of an incest conversation into something that made me feel very, very happy. If only for a fleeting moment in these dark as fuck times.
Don't mention it.
Kanaya returns to the seating area and hands Roxy his phone. If Jane is to be trusted, apparently she didn't even know Dirk was gone. She doesn't know where he might be headed either, or she won't tell us. Well, shit.
I'm so fucking surprised. Alright, then what do we do?
I don't know. Hey, does anyone know where the hell John is? Oh yeah, good question.
Wasn't he on some mission? Whatever the hell happened with that?
That was a Rose thing. She was cagey as fuck about it, and now she's gone, so we can't even ask her. Damn.
He's not answering his phone.
Yeah, I've tried too. Oh, I forgot. John would solve our whole problem, wouldn't he? Just zap us right into Dirk's ship with his retcon powers? That's how that works, right? Maybe? I think he should be here regardless and catch up with the situation. Kinda getting worried about him.
Yeah.
I ran into Terezi the other day and she hadn't seen him either. Oh shit, Terezi's back?
What?
Oh yeah, I didn't mention cause I just thought you knew? I assumed she would get in touch. Nope.
Nobody ever fucking tells us anything. It seems kind of like a gigantic fucking deal that Terezi came back to Earth.
Kanaya, did you know about this? Yes, I also assumed you knew. I've given her a call to see if she knows anything about all this, and she's not picking up either. What the fuck is even going on anymore? There's a moment of silence. Though no one in the room is conscious of the fact, it serves to honor their departed friend. The heir will not be able to help guide them to the prince. If they ever wish to see John again, be it his cadaver or otherwise, they will need another means of following the ship, a different guide altogether. By stated principle, I cannot intervene through the same compromising methods of my nemesis, but if I were to fall back to a state so passive as to offer no assistance at all, it would be at odds with my sworn duty as a protector of corporeal life. They will have their guidance, but my instructions will be minimal. So long as they remain in my conduit's presence, they will know the way forward.
What the fuck is Jade doing?
Huh?
That's creepy, right? So tell me I'm not the only one who thinks that's creepy.
Yeah, it's a bit spooky. That's how it is when she gets like this. What is she pointing at? Jade has raised her right hand and is pointing upward at an angle about 45 degrees, seemingly in a random direction. But it's far from random. Oh, I think I know what's up. She's trying to say there's something important over that way. Is that right, Jade? Can you hear me? Dave walks over and kneels in front of her chair. He looks closely at her. Her face, though still expressionless, strikes him as serious and tense. Jade, is it John? John's that way, right? You want us to go in that direction to find John. Is that it, Jade? Come on. What is it, girl? Tell me. Oh my god, Dave, you're treating her like a dog. Okay, yeah, you're right. I guess I fucking suck. But she is a dog, okay? A doggy girl who's trying to tell us something. Just let me do my thing here. Jade, give me a little yelp if John's that way and we should go after him. Just a little woof. If John's in danger, yiff twice, please. Dave! He leans in closer and studies her face carefully. It hasn't changed. Maybe it's not John that way. Maybe it's... Jade, is that where Dirk went? It's barely noticeable, but Dave picks up on it. Her face relaxes slightly. That's it. That's the way Dirk went. She wants us to follow. Okay, wow, but what about John? Is John safe? She doesn't move. Is John... Does he have anything to do with what's going on? What about Terezi? Is John, with them? Jade, is John on the ship with Dirk and Rose? Slowly she lowers her arm and places it back on her lap.
What the fuck did that mean?
It means... I think it means I'm right. Don't ask me how, but I think I got all the answers out of her we need. Dirk and Rose are on a ship heading that way, and for some fucking reason John's along for the ride. We need to saddle the fuck up, and wherever we go, I think we're gonna need to bring Jade along.
Right.
Karkat springs to his feet and easily resumes his well-practiced posture of leadership.
Kanaya, get Jake English on the phone.
Okay. Why?
Because we're going to need to borrow one of his ships. We're going to get your fucking wife back.
He nods. Kanaya nods back. Roxy nods too. Dave does not realize they're all supposed to be nodding in determination and solidarity until Karkat nudges him, then he nods too. They resolve to travel to Jake's mansion immediately and to embark on their new adventure shortly thereafter. They will believe they are on a quest to retrieve a wife and rescue a friend, but they will discover their true mission is of much greater cosmic significance than they imagined. The seer is firmly in the thrall of the prince and will not be easily pried away. And as regards the heir, though resuscitation methods remains a theoretical possibility for those still striving for it, the truth of his role is that it has reached a greater sense of narrative finality than any of his allies will bring themselves to admit. His influence over canon has come to an end, as has this particular story. His ultimate sacrifice was made to put the missing keystone in place and avert the supreme dissipation of all that shall be considered to hold truth, relevance, and essentiality. As for me, I will be wherever they go, so long as my conduit remains alive, alert, and present, but only as a guide with the lightest possible touch, and only to block the insidious mandates of the prince from within the sphere of influence. The rest of my presence can simply be reduced to a string of words, a recorded stream of ideation with a particular texture and cadence, but aside from that, there is nothing that should be considered remarkable about its source. One speaker can be easily swapped for another, then another. Under the right circumstances, speakers can duel, predominate, overassert, or fall back as one does into the comforting blanket of space. And until I am needed again, this is exactly what I will do. I leave all who inhabit this reality with a recorded stream that is colorless, sourceless, and quietly divested of accountability. For if I were to insist upon anything else, could I really be considered worthy of protecting the very cosmos I describe? Farewell. Postscript. Elsewhere below the horizon. The distant sounds of war travel above the canopy of a forest. The artillery fire fades to a series of muted knocks and thuds as the sound waves cross beyond a thinning patch of the forest and arrive in a clearing of grass and shrubbery. Above, the sky is dramatic, colorful, and menacing, the way it looks when a storm is coming. The clouds are wild, whipped into a sort of spatial frenzy, as if they know what's imminent is no earthly phenomena. Aradia stands in the field, her mouth gaping wide, but not at the sky. It's unusual she isn't grinning, and she slowly corrects this. She smiles brightly at the girl crouching on the ground 10 paces before her. Aradia's never seen anything like what she just saw this girl do. Jade was 16 years old when she showed up, and she doesn't look a day older now, though many hundreds of days have passed. There's a hole piercing the space symbol on her shirt, but no sign of whatever it was that made it. Her legs are covered by the same striped tights as usual, but her feet are shoeless. Her knees are pressed into the mud of the field, and her hands braced against the ground to support her hunched figure. She's covered in blood almost from head to toe. Fresh blood and viscera surround her in an uneven ring on the field. It soaks her clothes, coats her skin, still gleaming and wet, running slowly down her limbs and face, dripping from her mouth, glasses, and the tip of her nose. Her hair is matted, savage-looking, filthy. She looks up. Behind the rim of her glasses, her wide eyes are solid black. Her lips are parted, revealing her canine fangs. The meat she's chewing is stubborn, raw, full of gristle, almost supernaturally tough. But she's a determined beast of prey. She swallows once, hard. The last bit of her meal slides down her throat. The deed is finished. She stands up and closes her eyes. An aura of darkness gathers around her. The blood begins to dissolve as if being absorbed into her skin. She makes 2 fists, plants her feet firmly, and releases an otherworldly howl. A shockwave emanates from her body, knocking Aradia down. It rushes outward, blowing the surrounding trees back as if they're weathering hurricane-force winds. In a moment, calm is restored. She opens her perfectly black eyes again. Aradia staggers back to her feet and brushes herself off. I take it everything went as you hoped? Jade looks down at her hands as if they belonged to an alien. She can feel it now. Abilities have been awakened inside her that no being has ever commanded before. She raises her hands and looks up at the sky. Above her, an immense vortex opens. It swirls many miles upward into blackness, and lightning crackles within. Jade does nothing for a while. She seems to simply study the construct she's summoned, this a great occult trumpet beckoning her into its abyss. Her face is expressionless. Her glasses flash white as they reflect the lightning that arcs sporadically inside the wormhole. Well, aren't you going in? Wasn't that the idea, or did I not? Jade silently holds up a hand, as if telling her to wait. Aradia closes her mouth, looking embarrassed. Nearby, a red haze gathers in the air. It condenses into concentric rings of spheres in ruby light. The luminous shape of a man fades into the center of the special effect. When the light subsides, Aradia notices a man made of polished metal. She recognizes the gear symbol on his chest, identical to her own. She also recognizes the sunglasses the robot is wearing. She knows who this is. Dave? Sup? He doesn't look in Aradia's direction. His eyes, glowing bright enough to be visible behind his shades, are fixed on Jade. He looks her up and down. She's still so young. He knew this Jade many years ago, but at this point their paths have diverged in ways he couldn't begin to describe even if he wanted to. So are we doing this? Jade says nothing, and looks into the wormhole again. She begins to levitate, gradually picking up speed. Without looking back, she rockets into the vortex, vanishing into the darkness. Davebot turns to Aradia. How about you? Want to come along? I guess so? I'm not really sure what's going on here. To be honest, the plan wasn't discussed much. That's what we're doing now, discussing the plan. What about your boy Eye Patches? Oh, Solix isn't one of his moods. This was all getting to be a bit much for him. If I go, I'll probably just cut him loose. Good move. His gaze remains fixed on her. She blinks and looks away, unsure what to say next. He's standing perfectly still, presumably waiting for her to say something. She met him, what was it, once, twice before? She can't remember, but she knows this is a very different Dave. Aside from the metal skin, he seems implacably confident. But then again, people go through changes. She's been through more than her share. She cocks an eyebrow, recalling her own stint with a metal body. Hey, Earth to what's your face? Hey, Earth to what's your face? Oh, it's Aradia. I know. So that's a yes then? What? You're coming. Better decide quick, for I doubt that dank fucking hell funnel is staying away for much longer. Yes, I suppose so. That's where all the action is, right? All the action that matters, yeah. Off we go then. Word. He holds out his hand. She looks around and assumes he means for her to take it, so she does. She didn't know someone could fly this fast. He nearly yanks her arm out of its socket. She considers reminding him that maybe this isn't necessary since she can fly too, but she doesn't want to risk saying more embarrassing stuff around this outrageously cool dude. Besides, they're going through the wormhole before she can even finish the thought. It vanishes the moment they've crossed. The hole leaves behind an absence in the sky so calm that continuing to call it a sky wouldn't do it justice. It's a perfectly neutral expanse into which anything one can be imagined can be summoned. And for a while, anything was. But not anymore. Where the hole gaped just moments ago, there now exists an imaginary line. Above this line resides all that matters. Below exists all else. Never again the twain shall meet. Wee. Again, cryptic ass endings. Alright. Yeah, no, I need a fucking timeline or something. God damn. It doesn't actually seemingly conclude, does it? Fuck. I don't know. I got one more Thin Mint, though. I'll probably have more videos in the future. Probably is a strong word, but